This is Mr. Optimized.
Bienvenidos de nuevo, estudiantes de todo. Here is a preview of the N8N workflow that we're going to be building together here in this video. Let me show you first how it works. This is Mari, my personalized French tutor. Inside of Telegram, I can interact with Mari like this. Bonjour Marie, vous allez bien? As you can see, she sends an audio file and a text file so that you're getting both of those kinds of input for faster learning.
Je vais très bien. Et vous?
She says, I'm doing very well. And you? Mari has been trained on a specific database of French phrases that I've been collecting for myself over the past handful of months using a language learning program called Pimsleur. I talked about this in a previous video. I'll link up in the corner if you're curious. The basic idea is I don't want to just be practicing French, all of French, everywhere at all times. I want to practice the French phrases that I have seen and I am at least somewhat familiar with via Pimsleur. And so Mari has been trained to only use those phrases that I at least have that familiarity with, so that I'm reinforcing the French that I've been exposed to and I'm not being overwhelmed and I'm not getting nothing out of our sessions. I'm practicing the phrases that I want to practice. All right, let's begin. If you don't already have access to N8N, I'll link another video in the corner and in the description where you can go and learn what your options are for how to go about hosting N8N and the pros and cons of each of them, and then my recommendation as well. Make sure to watch that video, get yourself ready with N8N, and then once we're inside, we're going to create our first workflow, or our next workflow. The trigger for our Telegram agent is going to begin with the Telegram node, of course. Telegram on message. I already have my Telegram account set up, but in case you don't, we're going to walk through this together. So you're going to create a new credential. The access token is the only thing you need. In order to do that, if you go to the Telegram website, and in case you're ever confused and you're playing around with N8N and you're not sure how to connect to a specific service, you can always open the documentation. That's what all of this is, and it'll walk you through the steps. But for Telegram, what you do is if you go to the website, you go to API, which is what you use to connect all the different softwares. They'll tell you about their bot API. It's called the Bot Father. This is like Telegram's way of enabling you to create bots and control them. So that's what you need. If you go to your actual Telegram, you log in, you can go to Bot Father. You just search it up here, go Bot Father. And then once you find this one, you can make sure it's the right one, the one with about 3.5 million monthly users. Open it up and you can chat with them. What I want to do is create a new bot. And you can give it some name. Okay. I'm going to copy my secret access key and come over to N8N and paste it. Save that. And it should be good to go. Back over in Telegram, you can use the link that it provided for you where it says you'll find your new bot. To access your bot, if it says something like this, no messages here yet, for some reason, I don't know if it'll be the same for you, but for some reason for me, I'm only able to start the conversation using my phone. So on my phone, if I click that same link, I can click start. There's a start button, and then there you go, you can start the chat history. Okay, so creating our workflow, we're going to start with what's called a switch node. A switch node is what's going to enable us, if we have Mari, a switch node is necessary in order to make Mari, or Jimena in our case, be able to understand both text and audio input so that we can send her either text input or audio files, and she'll be able to understand and respond. So in the switch node, the first thing I need is some previous data. So if I click that previous button, you'll want to make sure to send a first input through Telegram. So if you're not seeing this, make sure that you go into your new bot and send something. And then from there, we're gonna transfer over. If you sent a text message, not an audio message, you should see this text item, and then next to it should be the text that you sent, which is gonna be /start, because that's how you initiate a conversation. Gonna bring that, drag it over into this field, and it'll automatically generate the code for you that'll make it dynamic. What we want is for N8N to recognize, first of all, it's a string, and all we need is for it to exist. If it exists, then yes, we're gonna rename it to text. Make sure that this is lowercase. I tried to do it uppercase, and for whatever reason I was running into issues, so just make it lowercase and it'll fix that for you. We're gonna add one more rule for audio, and if audio exists, then we're gonna rename it to audio. So similar process. In order to get the audio file, we have to send Jimena an audio file. So I'm gonna do that now. We can go, I need to access my microphone. This is a test file, test audio. Okay. Back here in N8N, we can test it, and we should get an audio file now. So voice, duration, mime type, What we want is the file ID. Drag that into the next one. If it exists, rename it to audio. Okay, so now our goal is to get to the AI agent. So we can go ahead and pull that in. Go to AI agent, we can bring in that node separately. But before we just connect directly to the AI agent, there are a couple of different things that we need to do in between. So first, for the audio, if you wanted to connect audio directly to the AI agent, I believe you could do that, but I'm going to show you a trick that'll save you some money. The first thing we want to do is convert the audio into a text file, and then the text is going to be the thing that the agent is processing, so that the processing cost is lower, because if the agent is only processing transcribed text, it's going to save you some money. So the first thing we have to do is get the file. It's going to be an audio file. So file, get, down here in the voice, you're going to get the file ID. Okay, after it gets the file, you then want to take that file and transcribe it into text. So that's another OpenAI node. Oh, I guess it's our first OpenAI node. Transcribe a recording. So it's going to get the audio from whenever we get an audio trigger, recognize that it's audio, get sent over to get a file from the Telegram. That'll be processed with Telegram. It's going to transcribe it, and then from the transcribing, we can take that transcription and give it to our agent. Okay, now on the text side, we only have one thing to do, and that is to edit the fields. If you don't do this part, and you just connect the text directly to the AI agent, you can connect the AI agent to be able to recognize the text from the switch node. But the problem is with the dynamic code in there that is designed to, if you have it only look for this kind of text, if you use that kind of code, it's not then going to be able to recognize this recording right here. So what you have to do is transfer it over into a JSON file. So what we want to do is add a field here. We're going to execute the previous node. Well, I guess we have to run the entire workflow. I'm going to send a test event. Oh, it wants us to put something in here. Okay, let's just get rid of it for a second. Get rid of the AI agent. run the workflow, and then we're going to send a test event by texting our bot from Telegram test. Okay, so it succeeded. Okay, so this is very important. In the edit fields node, we do not want the text piece from the switch node. We want to go back all the way from the beginning, the Telegram trigger or whatever you might have renamed it, and get the text piece from here. That's what we're going to put into the value, and then we can close that. That should be good to go. And now we can connect our AI agent. Okay, so if you got it out, connect it here and here. The last steps of the text and the audio respectively will be these two, and then they'll be fed into the AI agent. These two intermediate steps will enable the AI agent to recognize whether it's text or audio. It should be good to go. So what we want to do now is, the first thing is give our agent a brain so that it can actually run test events. We're going to do OpenAI. I'm going to go with 5 nano. The different models of large language models that are available will affect the speed and the cost of your model, of your agent. And so for a simple application like this, well, simple, it's not processing large and complex queries, it's just referencing a specific database. I think the speed is and the affordability is more important, so that's why I went with a smaller model. Now that this agent has a brain, we can run a test event to make sure that everything here is working properly so far. So we're going to click execute workflow. I'm going to first try a text to my agent through Telegram. So I'm on my phone right now. I'm going to say test. Okay, so we have an issue over here, but that's okay. As long as this ran fine, we'll tinker with this here in a second. But now I want to test in audio. Test. All right, sweet. So it made it through these nodes and to our AI agent. Now we're going to try to set up this agent. Okay, so to set up our AI agent, I'm going to run another test event. This one texting the agent, the word test. It's gotten our data from the edit fields. Come in here and update the prompt from connected chat trigger node, which we're not using, to define below. From our edit fields node, we want the text code. And then using that, it should be able to recognize our text now. So we can try it one more time with the text. It's not going to say anything in response. We haven't set that up yet. But as long as it's able to recognize it. Okay, and then you can see that we have our response right here. Now, if we set everything up correctly, it should also be able to recognize audio. Let's try that. Test. Okay, I think I figured it out, guys. Man, I apologize. It's like 12:30 in the morning. I'm trying to reteach myself this very, very precise process. Coding is a very unforgiving practice, but it's good for the challenge. But okay, in the edit fields node, it's very important that this right here be named text, only text, and it's lowercase. It's extremely precise. So that is renamed now. And we're going to come back in here and define below. This should be fine now. Instead of this message.text, we want to get rid of all of that and go JSON dot. Nope, that shouldn't be like that. Let's run the test. Let's run this again. go. Okay, so the code now should just be json.text, and now texting should work. Let's try it out. Looks like it read it. And now the text is what we're being sent over in a recording as well. So let's try the audio. Test. Praise the Lord. We figured it out. Okay. We're done with the left side of the whole process. Now we're going to dive into the actual getting responses back. Man, that was frustrating. It's good for you to see, though, that I'm not perfect. Okay, let's create some memory for our AI agent. We're going to just do simple memory. It's not a connected chat trigger node. We're going to define it below. We want the chat ID from the switch node. We don't have any data right now, though. So we're going to come out here and run another test event. If you're not seeing anything over here, you can come over here to mapping, and you should see down under switch chat ID. I'm going to give it a context window of 10. Okay, now we can give the AI agent the tool that we want it to have access to, which is Notion, and specifically the Notion database that we want it to look at. I've already connected my Notion account. I'm not going to go over how to connect Notion API in this video, but if you're curious about that, just leave a comment. I'll be sure to help you out. We want the resource is going to be a database page, because we want a page specifically from one particular database. We want to get many database pages from French phrases in this case, and then return all of them. Let's test this out one more time just to make sure everything is working smoothly. I'm going to send a text. Looks good. Send an audio. Test. Woo! All right, praise the Lord. We are making progress. If you're new to N8N and you're making mistakes and getting errors and things like that, just know you're not alone. It's part of the game, part of the process. Coding and anything like coding is an extremely, I said it already, precise discipline. It is very unforgiving. So at this point, let's rename our workflow. I should have done this at the beginning, but we're going to call our new tutor Jimena. I was going to have this be our Spanish tutor because I thought that would be more relevant for more people, but I don't have any Spanish databases, and if I try to set up my AI tutor to practice Spanish phrases with me, but point it to a French database, it's going to get confused. So I'm just going to call this our Telegram French tutor 2. But of course you can connect to your own Spanish database and have it be Spanish for you if you prefer. The next thing I want to do is inside our AI agent node, we want to specify to Jimena the role that she is playing. So you, Jimena, so here's an example of what you might write. Your name's Jimena, helpful French tutor. Here's your job. Here's the tools that you're going to have access to. And here's the role that I want you to play. All right, now for the fun part. We're going to have our agent be replying back to us. We're going to have 2 different branches here, one for audio and one for message for text. So let's start with a text message. We're going to do a Telegram node. We want send a text message. We want the chat ID to come from all the way at the beginning, the Telegram trigger, chat ID. and then the text is going to be from our AI agent. We got to send a test event. It might want a placeholder in here just for it to be able to recognize that you're running a test, I guess. We're going to test message. Okay. We want the text for it to send back to be the output from the AI agent. Okay, now we also wanted to send an audio file. We have from Telegram. Send audio file. But before it can do that, we need to generate the audio, because inside the agent itself, remember we made a transcription, so it's only working with text. We have to make it create an audio file first. So we're gonna go to generate audio, and by the way, you can generate images with OpenAI. You can generate videos. You can get real creative with this and have it do, virtually anything you want. We're gonna do generate audio, and the input that it's generating audio from is the output from the AI agent. Okay, you can also play with the voice in here. We have a few different options depending on the model that you chose. I think there might even be more options that are listed right here. That should be good. And then from that, the audio file will be generated. The audio file needing the chat ID from all the way at the beginning. Chat ID. And then it's also important you make this binary. Okay, moment of truth. Here it goes. I'm gonna do a test event. Let's try text first. Watch it over here on N8N. Look at that. Vous comprenez l'anglais? Vous allez bien? Je comprends le français. Je comprends un peu le français. Est-ce que vous êtes américain?
Vous comprenez l'anglais. Vous allez bien? Je comprends le français. Je comprends un peu le français. Est-ce que vous êtes américain?
Awesome. One thing I noticed, we don't really need this N8N signature here. We can get rid of that pretty easy. If we go to, I believe it's send a text message, and down here in additional fields, the append N8N attribution that's automatically on, of course, gotta self-mark it. I don't blame them, but we can turn that off and that should be good to go now. Let's test the audio this time. Do permit test. Okay.
Vous comprenez l'anglais? Vous allez bien? Je comprends le français. Je comprends un peu le français. Est-ce que vous êtes américain?
Praise the Lord. All right, y'all. Wrapping up, we can come up here to the name of our bot and customize it to your liking for what happened? There we go. For Mari, I went to Grok. My AI of choice, and I literally just said, generate an image of me of my new AI French tutor, a young, attractive, of course, right, French woman with black hair, and there she is. And then you can make your own. Perfect. Excelente.